I was showing my coworker a picture of my son when my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, sent a text. It was something along the lines of having a threesome. What is the worst notification you have received whilst someone else has had your phone? What's up, my bro? Been a long time without my friend. Just kidding, but I'm glad you're back for another story time. Since you're already here, can you go ahead and like the video and subscribe? If you do, I'll send you case of bang energy. Enough bang, let's start the stories. My friend made this fake account on Twitter and followed me exactly at the time my teacher had taken my phone away. The notification read at ANALFISTER6969 has followed you. My friend texting me, I lead her ass while I was showing my mom a meme. Never swiped away a notification so fast in my MF life. New job alert from ZipRecruiter while at work. I was ordering food off of DoorDash on my ex's phone when she got a text from guy saying he couldn't wait to see her that weekend. She told me she was going to see her mom. Other way around, I was holding ex-husband's phone while he was driving me and the kids to the airport. Text comes in from a work colleague asking if we'd left yet. It was then that I realized the marriage was over. My boyfriend and I send each other shirt randomly during the day, like FedEx me that pecker or flap them tits my way. I was showing my mom something on my phone once and he sends gonna slap you with my dick tonight. I was chatting with a guy and it was going well, nothing sexual, maybe mild flirting. So I didn't care when I gave my buddy my phone for some reason. Then across the room he yells, "Yo, this dude just asked if you'd be down for anal." Edit: no, I would not be down to do anal, especially not with people I barely know. Story apps can give really interesting ones. My favorite that popped up while my boyfriend was holding my phone was something like, "Mike misses you. Come back and play." Or something like that. Of course, all he did was pull the drop-down menu down to see the full notification and laugh. He teased me about it for hours. I was showing my grandma some pictures. She chuckled a bit and quickly handed me back my phone. I looked at it and saw that my boyfriend, now husband, had texted me saying, "I hate it when I'm pooping and my dick touches the water. Big dick problems." We laughed about it, but my husband is still horrified by the thought of my grandma knowing about his big dick problems. My sister-in-law was staying with me for a week, which I wasn't stoked about. My sister knew about it and messaged me, "How are you dealing with Sil's name? Do you need to pretend to have an app again, lol?" Unfortunately, my Sil was borrowing my tablet at the time and saw the notification pop up. She hasn't stayed with us since. Not my phone, but a Hangouts notification that popped up on the screen while my new boss was standing behind me to train me on a new program. The message from my husband, "Ask how's the pooper?" I was so focused on the task that she saw and read it before I did and collapsed to the floor in hysterical laughter. I read it and immediately lost it too. In tears from laughing, we were frantically talking over each other, her trying to apologize for the unprofessional reaction, and me trying to explain that Pooper was our dog's nickname because he was getting over a bout of diarrhea. The rest of the office was so confused. Years ago, I was working at an Apple store as a genius technician and was helping an older woman with her phone. This woman had to be in her late 60s, early 70s, as sweet as could be, and was having some minor issues with her phone. I think it was battery life or something. So she hands me her phone, and just as she does, a message pops up with a picture of a toilet full of shirt, and the message reads, "How many times do I have to tell you to flush the funking toilet?" Not knowing really what to do, I just hand it back to her and tell her she has a message. She takes the phone, half smiles, closes the message and hands it back saying, "Sorry about that, sweetheart, my daughter can be a bit of a bitch." A couple of years ago, met a guy from Tinder in a pub for our first date. Things were going well, we were having a laugh and flirting. After about an hour, I took out my phone to show him a funny meme, and up popped a notification from my new period tracking app saying, "Today's the day you're ovulating." I swiped it real quick, and I don't think he got a good look at it, but I was still worried he'd think I was some child-obsessed weirdo who timed my dates so random Tinder guys could impregnate me. I turned off ovulation notifications after that. Edit: And I was the sender once when I text my friend who was planning to break up with her BF, hope you're okay. How did Gary take the breakup? When Gary was using her phone and hadn't yet been broken up with. Sorry Gary. I was the one doing the sending. I moved to Japan a couple of years ago, and early one morning I was at a market and saw a tanuki statue that had the full cotton balls on display. I took a picture of it and thought it would be funny to send my brother a message reading unsolicited dick pic. Then send a pic of the tanuki statue. Little did I know, halfway around the world, my brother was doing some late evening car shopping. He had recently been in an accident that had totaled his car and was in the market for a new one. He had handed the car salesman his phone so he could show the guy the pics of the damage to his car, and the guy was looking through them when the words unsolicited dick pic popped up on the screen. My brother said the guy nearly dropped the phone trying to shove it back in his hands. I have a friend who is an EMT that had a similar experience. When he went to work, he'd often take his iPad with him to play around between calls. This time though, his girlfriend had forgotten to sign out of Facebook on it. So all of a sudden, the iPad starts going nuts with notifications. He looks and finds the reason is because his girlfriend was flirting and arranging a date with another guy. He didn't speak to her for the rest of his shift and broke up with her when he got home, sending her back to live with her mother. She made a bunch of threats that she'd kill herself and she'd self-harm if he didn't stay. He told her too bad, wasn't his problem anymore. Unfortunately, he still has to deal with her as they have a daughter, and he tried to get custody but failed. He does his best for her anyway though. Edit, a lot of people have wondered about if how he doesn't have custody, and I actually don't know much about that situation myself. He'd talked about taking her to court after a prior incident, and it sounded to me like he had a good case from my not a lawyer perspective. I never heard anything about following legal proceedings or if he even had any after that point. I do know he's getting married to someone else in the near future, and they've seemed happy when I bumped into them. Border Patrol had my phone and my buddy sent me a text in which he jokingly said something like, "What makes you think they'll let you in this time?" or something like that. Edit. They did let me in. I'll give you the backstory because I think it makes the whole thing a little crazier. For starters, my name is as seen here. Crossing into the States post 9/11 has had its moments, let's say that. Also, with my background come the typical jokes close friends will make, hence the text. Actually, I think my friend's text was in response to me sending out a general message to people that I was heading down to the US. But this time crossing, I had signed up with a company that pairs people willing to drive with people who need their vehicle somewhere that they don't want to drive it to themselves. Like snowbirds, who go between Canada and Florida, Arizona, California, etc. It was my first time working for them and I was going to pick up a car in Florida and drive it to northern Ontario. I was flying down to Florida, and in the Toronto airport there is an American customs which clears you before leaving, rather than when you arrive. The thing about it was, I didn't have as much information as I would like to have had. I didn't know the name of the person whose vehicle it was, I didn't have the address of where I was picking it up. I had email correspondence with the business owner, but he was a little behind on providing the relevant paperwork. So, in this case from a border officer's perspective, I do kind of understand the rigmarole that followed because you had a single mail with a one-way ticket to Florida and a not-so-substantiated story about how I was going to not stay indefinitely in the States. I was directed to secondary inspection, which is a place I'm pretty familiar with. Except this time I didn't notice the signs about not using electronics while in there because I was too busy staring at my phone. The secondary inspection area was just a room with a lot of empty seats and nobody else. I waited for like 10 to 15 minutes playing around on my phone when the door I had entered opened and an officer who was probably preoccupied with something else passed through, noticed me on my phone, and was like, "Hey, you can't be on that, give it here." So off goes my phone with the officer as they exit to another room. A seemingly long time goes by and another officer comes back with my phone. And my relatively congenial question period begins, where I have to explain, among other things, what the hell I'm doing in the States and how it works, why I might not get let into the States, as per my friend's text, which he must have sent while I didn't have my phone, and a joke concept I had saved in my notes app about smoking weed. But after all that, I did get let through. Arguably coming back with someone else's vehicle across the border was a worse experience. Thanks for watching. What did you think of the story time? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any more story times.